All right, you all know the drill. When your number is called, step forward and repeat the phrase you've been given. Understand?
5.
You have 5 seconds to get out of here.
Numbers do not lie.
Number 4, step forward.
4.
First thing you've said in the last 4 hours.
Do we have a settlement?
No.
Number 3, step forward.
3.
No big deal. You are no longer my number 3.
It's all part of the plan.
Number 2, step forward.
2.
You brought too many.
Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Number 1, step forward.
1.
I'm the king of the world!
But now, to end this edition of the Strictly Business podcast, it's our power rankings time. Ritz, we're going to rank our teams, our top 5 NFL teams heading into the season right now, starting at number 5. I'll go first. I have my New England Patriots at number 5 right now as the 5th best team in the NFL.
Okay. I'm a little surprised that they're not number 1 for you on your list.
I am a realist. I'm a rational person. Not really. not really. But for the sake of this podcast, yes, I am a realist.
Okay. That's surprising. I will say that the Patriots are not in my top 5. I'm going to be honest with you. And number 5 for me is going to be the San Francisco 49ers. I think that they are a balanced team. They're not going to win the division like we stated, but I think the Niners are that next best team to not win their division. I think the Niners have enough. They always have a solid back in Frank Gore. They have a lot of stuff going on on the defensive end, but I think Jim Harbaugh is such a good coach that he's really going to weather the storm there with all the outside noise they're going to have. So I have the Niners as number 5 on my power ranking.
All right, I do not have the Niners in my top 5. I think that their defense has took too much of a hit, and I think that I don't have them in my top 5, to be honest with you. So we disagree at number 5. On number 4, who do you got?
Number 4, I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. I think the Packers are one of the better teams, one of the top teams in the league. I think Rodgers is going to be in the MVP talk this year. I'm not going to say he's going to win it, but I'm going to say he's going to be in the talk. I think the emergence of Eddie Lacy is going to add on to how good the Packers are going to be. They're going to, like we said, they're going to win the division. And I think the Packers have a lot going on for them, and I have them 4 in my power ranking.
Okay. At number 4, I have the New Orleans Saints. I think that they're poised for a really, really big year. I think that Drew Brees looked great coming off his injury in the preseason. In the third preseason game I watched him play in, he looked fantastic, and that offense looked really crisp. The reason they're not higher, because they could be, is because I need to see their defense and how much they're going to improve first before I truly buy into it. But the Saints' offense is just so good that you have to have them in the top 5, so I got them at number 4.
And that's why they're number 3 on my power ranking. I have the Saints number 3. I agree with you. I think that they are set to have a special year this year, but I need kind of to see more to put them above my other top 2 teams that we'll get into. I got to see how dominant is their defense going to be. If they have a pretty good defense, the Saints are going to be one of the top teams in the league because their offense is so dominant that as long as they get a little help from their defense, the Saints are going to win a lot of games. So I have the Saints number 3. For number 2, I have the Super Bowl champs, the Seattle Seahawks, for number 2 in my power rankings. Obviously, one of the best, if not the best, defense in the league. Obviously, the best home field advantage in the league. They do not have the best quarterback in the league in Russell Wilson. I think me and you both have stated about our kind of doubts about Russell Wilson. I think that Marshawn Lynch isn't going to have as good of a year as he did this past year. Got a lot of touches. I think you're going to see signs of fatigue from him, and honestly, I don't think he's going to get as many touches as he did. If their defense can hold up, then they're going to make some noise again. But they're still a pretty good football team. I have them number 2 on my power ranking.
Yeah, for me at number 3, I have Green Bay Packers. For your number 4, I just think with Aaron Rodgers that offense is going to be dynamic, and I think Eddie Lacy's going to step up a really big time and be a good quality running back in the NFL. But at number 2, I got the Denver Broncos. For me, frankly, I don't know how you can't have Seattle number 1 because they're defending Super Bowl champions and they have done nothing to disprove the fact that they're going to get worse, that they're going to get any better because they're not Percy Harvin coming at the start of the season. And their defense is still going to be great. So I got the Broncos at number 2 because they did lose Eric Decker. They did lose Noshawn Moreno. Granted, they did add Aqib Talib and DeMarcus Ware on defense. Wes Welker, that concussion, you don't know how much that's going to affect him. And that's going to affect Peyton Manning because Wes Welker was a huge target for Peyton Manning in the red zone especially. So that's why I got the Broncos at number 2, and I said Seattle Seahawks are number 1. They're number 1 until you show me something that really, really is going to knock you off the top of that pedestal, and they haven't done anything to show that to me so far. So that's why I got the Seahawks number 1 and the Broncos number 2.
Well, I have the Denver Broncos at number 1 just because on the simple fact that you kind of mentioned it, they have additions. As bad as it might hurt the Broncos right now to lose Wes Welker, you could plug somebody in and Peyton Manning will make it work. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the league. So I'm not worried about their offense. They added Talib. They added Ware on defense, and I think their defense is going to be very good this year. They're in it to win it now. And like I said, I think the fact that the Seattle Seahawks didn't change anything is almost going to hurt them come playoff time because I don't believe in Russell Wilson at all. And let's see if Percy Harvin can do anything. I really don't believe in the Seahawks repeating. Do you have the Seahawks repeating, Stanko?
No, I do not. No, I do not.
Because I certainly do not. And I think that when you're talking about power rankings, in my eyes, I definitely don't see the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl. So that's why they aren't my number 1. I can see the Broncos going ahead and winning the Super Bowl. That's why they are number 1 in my power rankings. The Seahawks are number 2. So for me, it is the Broncos, the Seahawks, the Saints, the Packers, and the 49ers from top to bottom as my top 5 power rankings.
And for me, I have the Seahawks, the Broncos, the Packers, the Saints, and then the Patriots at number 5. So we disagree a little bit there. I think the biggest is that you have San Francisco in there, and I don't, and I have New England. So, I mean, I got to go with my boy, Tom Brady, ultimate man crush. So I mean, there it is. I mean, I can't argue with what you said because your top 5 teams are very viable and they all have a shot. And we should make it known that we are going to eventually give our Super Bowl predictions, but it will come in a later podcast. We decided that was too much to throw into this one. So they will be announced in a later podcast.
And also look out for, in a couple days, me and John will do our Week 1 predictions of the NFL. And we'll delve into just strictly Week 1 and who we believe will be who will start off 1-0 this season, who's going to start 0-1.
Yeah, that all-important first game in the season that every game matters. Also, I want to thank you, everyone, for listening to the second episode of the Strictly Business Podcast. Be sure to go on to Facebook and like our Facebook page, the Strictly Business Podcast, with Mike Ritz and John Stanko. Also, Johnny,
sorry to cut you off, but to talk about the Facebook page real quick, just double-check. We are now at 65 likes. So I just want to thank everyone who is listening right now. If you liked our Facebook page, thank you. Show your friends, show your family. We're trying to get as many likes as we can. So if you did like our page, thank you. And if you're listening to this now and you didn't like our page yet, like our page, and you'll get updates on what's going on with the Strictly Business Podcast.
Yeah, and be sure to share the podcast with as many people as you can. Trying to get our voices out there, and there will be opportunities for the audience to chime in whenever you guys have a suggestion for an idea or for an improvement or something that you'd like to see changed. Just be sure to tweet at either me or Mike, message us, text us, call us. We are always welcome to recommendations and ideas, so be sure to let those known. So I want to thank you, everyone, for listening. For Mike Ritz and John Stanko, this is the second episode of the Strictly Business Podcast. Tune in next week for episode 3, where we'll obviously recap the first week of the NFL and delve into whatever other sports topics of the day there are. So thank you, everyone, for listening.